Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode number 23B, use case, using brushes to write music. Well, welcome, and this is the iPad Possibilities Podcast. I'm Tim, and I'm your host of this show, and because last episode was not as long as I'd like the normal episodes to be, I thought I'd give you a second episode, a part 2, and I experienced something today which is pretty cool. I started using a program called Brushes, and what I've been able to do is, through Safari, take screenshots of music notation, music staffs, to notate music on the iPad. So I'm going to talk about my experience using brushes and using that to create simple music sketches as I'm out and about or in class. So that's what I'll have for you on this episode of the iPad Possibilities Podcast. Before we get underway, I'd like to thank our sponsor of this show. It's on my way, the iPhone application in the App Store, available for $2.99. Grab it today to plan out your route. Well, today we will be talking, as I said, about a new use case I found for the iPad. And I actually didn't plan on doing this today, but I thought, hey, let's give this a shot. So I've been looking over different art type apps, and I decided to get brushes. They got some pretty good reviews, and what I did is I was trying to find a way to actually take a quick music notes in the iPad. Right, I was looking for music notation notes. I found an iPhone app called Symphony, and they're working on one for the iPad, but it didn't really suit my needs for what I needed. I needed something where I could simply jump from measure to measure, quickly jot down a dictation of what I heard. So I take this class called Aural Skills. It's a class that every music major needs to take. And with that class, you have to dictate and write out what you hear as you hear. So you need to be very quick, very efficient. And you need to be able to do that in pretty much real time. You don't have time to sit around and try to figure out how everything works. So I was looking for a solution to do this. Originally, I was trying to do this on the message pad. As I talked about earlier, the Newton message pad. I searched forever to try to find a way to do this, and I simply could not find anything that would suit my needs. It was just not going to work, even though this was, machine, the Newton eMate, the Newton message pad. They were both designed to do, sort of things like that, but nothing ever worked out well enough for me to use it like that. So I discovered an application called Brushes. This is one of the apps that was demoed on the iPad's launch. And they have this ability to insert saved photos. So what I did is I did a Google search for music notation, music staff paper, something like that. And I found PDFs of that. And what I did a screenshot of Safari using that. And with the brushes, you're able to zoom in and really get what the area of the screen you want to be displayed on your brushes image and get that displayed in brushes. And you simply hit accept and you're off and running. So I've got a music notation of 3 different staffs here, and you're very quickly able to add different colors of notes, and you're able to quickly sketch in the clefs and all that kind of information. And one of the cool things is with the Pogo sketch, which I own, it really creates a great way to do this. I was able to much more effectively than even on paper to dictate my melodies and rhythms as I heard them. Now, the reason I was able to do this quickly was because first off, the screen size is quite large and a perfect size to do this. Secondly, a great feature is you're able to just simply switch between colors really instantly, really fast. So I was able to do some highlighting of different errors I might have had as I was doing it. I was able to do rhythm in one color and switch between another. And you're able to quickly switch between the thickness as well. And another cool feature is you're able to zoom in on the image, so you're able to do fine tuning, and if you just want to focus on a single measure of music that you're working on, you can do that quite easily, then zoom back out. and it worked extremely well. So I just want to share this very quick use case, and I'd love if you guys should send in your comments about use cases that you didn't think you'd see with the iPad, that you're now using the iPad for. I think we'll continue to see new scenarios and use cases that we did not know we'd be using our iPads for. So this was one of them. And to kind of close out this episode, I also wanted to mention that one nice feature was, just like with the Omni Group apps and with the iWork apps, it's kind of laid out in a similar manner where you're able to go back to the gallery and export that in a variety of means. So I was actually able to email that photo directly into my Evernote account, and now that they have the notebook feature where you're able to email into notebooks, I was actually able to email that into my RL Skills notebook. So that was very easy to do and just a fantastic experience using brushes. So that's one cool use case I saw with brushes. I actually tried other apps, but this was the best one I found to do this. So I'd highly recommend brushes. It's pretty wonderful. So as always, please send your feedback, as I said before, at iPadPossibilities@gmail.com and 209-542-iPad. And to support this show, subscribe in iTunes, leave a review, purchase the iPad Possibilities podcast app, found in the App Store for $2.99, and get the shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday through that app. And you can donate to the show at thepossibilitiesnetwork.com. To find out more information about this show and other shows, go to thepossibilitiesnetwork.com for an entire network on shows on possibilities and potential. Until Sunday night at the live show with Ken Case, and until Friday or Saturday with this week's Weekly Thought, this is Tim Chatton of the iPad Possibilities podcast.